I called. It was a expired $960,000 home listing. Um, I called her up and I contacted her, and she said she was going to be interviewing agents again. This is her third time that house is on the market with three different realtors. Um, so it was a month later before I actually got to go on the listing presentation, but I did mail her the book. So when I showed up to the listing presentation, she had the book on the table. So that tells me she read the book. She told me at the time that she wasn't interested in selling that house because she had a townhouse that they were upgrading and doing some improvements to, and they wanted to sell that. That had been through two realtors too. We ended up putting that townhouse on the market for $193,000, and it sold in 17 days, highest in the subdivision that it had ever sold. That helped because of the improvements, because of the book. And then after we closed that one, she called me up and she said, "Come up and tell me what you think of our house." So I went back up there and looking at her house, it's not a stick built home. It's all concrete and steel. She built the home herself because she owned a construction company back in the day. It's all geothermal and radiant floor heating. So it's super efficient. It's a 5,668 square foot house. It has a 30-foot cathedral ceiling in it, and the utilities on this house are only like $350 a month. And so we got to talking, and once I did some research, being in the area that it is, there hasn't been any houses sold within the last 4.5 years. So we couldn't really use comps for that. The closest ones we had to go a couple subdivisions different, and those houses were pretty close in comparison to square foot, beds and baths and everything. And they were coming in at just about 1 million. Um, but looking at the construction and the way the house was built and everything, it was determined best to put it on the market at 1.2 million. So we ended up getting a $193,000 townhouse sold and a $1.2 million house. That was one single book. That was the business card book.